Hi Rohit.
Afternoon, sir.
Wow, today we have got, I guess, more participants than yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Did something good happen to you all? Yesterday I found like there was some missing and now all are back. Great.
Yes, sir.
So, Rohit, sir, shall I start?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then
Yes,
hello,
sir.
guys. Good evening. My warm greetings to everyone. We again welcome Mr. Piyush Agarwal, sir, our today's session speaker. And so today we are on day 5, session number 2. Last day, you all learned about control flow, its introduction, if-else statements, loops, advanced control flow sequences, flow charts, and control flow activities. If anybody wants the recording of last session, then check it out on our YouTube channel. And today, you all are going to learn about the assign activity, the delay activity, the do while activity, the if activity, switch activity, and many more. So, welcome, Piyush, sir.
Okay, thanks Subrat.
The session is over to you, sir. You can start.
Thank you,
So I
Shubhrat. Thank
guess
you.
my screen is visible, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Unlike our everyday, like today we are going to start with the session first, instead of Kahoot. So, but before that, is there anyone just who has got any kind of doubts from our previous sessions? Just let me know in the chat if anyone has any doubt, or we should continue with our new session. I'm waiting, guys, for your response in the chat box. Okay, great. So we have already discussed about water conditioners, right? Now today we are going to explore more about loops, how we can execute same kind of activities again and again, and what is the need of doing so. So before let's see our agendas are loops and iterations. What kind of loops are there? What are the break and continue statement? And there is a surprise for you at the end. Okay. Now, first thing, loop. It is a like programming structure that repeats a sequence of instructions until a specific condition is met. That is a kind of like technical theory that we say. But in normal communication, we say that like loop is whenever we want to iterate over something, whenever there are some steps that we want to repeat on daily basis or at a certain period of time, that is the kind of loop. Like a thing we can say is during our college life, we were in a loop from one lecture to another. Attend one lecture, then second lecture, then third lecture. There is also a kind of loop. Now, some possible use cases of loop that you can think of are like iterating over some values. When I am saying iterating, it's like moving from one place to another, or like like moving from one box of a train to the next box. Okay, you got that iterate part. Or it could be we are trying to add some value, something like like you are checking for something and you are keeping a counter that how many cards you have processed. Probably there are some documents with you and you are supposed to fill up all those documents. Now when you keep a count of each document that you have processed, you have filled up, so that is you are summing up a counter. You are basically counting the number of documents you have processed. That is a kind of loop you are doing. Repeat functions. If there is a set of activity that you want to repeat for a certain period of time, that is a kind of use case that comes inside loops. Okay. Now, basically, we have got two types of loops with us. Some are definite loops and indefinite loops. Now, can anyone explain what do you mean by definite or indefinite keywords?
So definite means, I guess, which iterate for at least one time,
Okay, and indefinite?
which depends on the condition and then it iterates.
Okay. So for definite, it's not only Aditya about like at least one time. When we say a definite loop, it means that we know exactly how many times that loop is going to run. Then we call it a definite loop. Like if I say that my loop is going to execute for 10 times, So I am definitely sure that it will not run more than 10 times. So that is my definite loop. And when we say indefinite loop, when we don't know that how many times our loop is supposed to run. So for example, for an indefinite loop, suppose I have created a program that takes some input from user. Okay. Now I am supposed to add those numbers which the user is giving to me and return back an average value to him when he is done with all the tasks, all the numbers that he want to give. Now my condition would be keep taking numbers from the user until he gives me a done keyword. So that is a kind of indefinite loop. I am not sure that how many numbers the user will provide me. It could be one, it could be zero, it could be 1,000 or 10,000. But at the end, I am supposed to add all those numbers and give him back a average number. That was my processing. Now, if we talk about definite loops, there are three subtypes: a for each, parallel for each, and a for each row in data table. These are not like in general, these are specific to UiPath. So when we say what are the definite loops in UiPath, we have got one for each loop, parallel for each loop, and for each row in data table. The third one is very specific, only for a particular use case that we use that particular loop. And when we talk about indefinite loops, we have got two: while and do while. And now we are going to explore these five loops in detail. And if anyone gets any confusion in between, just mention in the chat box, or you can just pick up. So the first one is our for each. Performs an activity or a series of activities on each element of an enumeration. Do you guys know what is an enumerable or enumeration? When I'm taking that word, what I mean? You can respond in the chat box. What is an enumerable or enumeration? Any idea, guys? No idea. Okay. So enumeration is a range. Yes, something like a range or a collection. Whenever we say that this something is enumerable or it is an enumeration, so we are saying that it is a collection on which we can move or iterate one over another. Like again, taking the example of a train, we can say a train is an enumerable collection. We have got multiple boxes, train boxes, all attached together. One can say we can move from one box to the second box, second from the to third. So it is an enumerable item. Something like an array, which is visible in the screen. It is an array of integers. Okay, so this is an enumerable item. It has 5 elements and I can iterate over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, every in UiPath, since we have discovered that there are a lot of number of data types over there. So in similar way, you can create all those data types as an array or list as well. So when I am using a for each activity, I have gotten type argument property for it. So type argument defines that each of these elements have what kind of property, what kind of data type they are of. So one thing to make sure that whenever you are using for each activity and an enumerable with it, then those enumerables, each element of those enumerables have the same data type. You cannot have different data types like integer, string, boolean all together in a same array. Okay, that's why we use, whenever we use enumerable, we are using arrays and not lists. Okay, second thing is, like over here when I am saying the type argument, what is the argument type of these numbers elements? So that is the data type of this item keyword. This is like a temporary variable that is created in with this activity, and definitely it is something you can manipulate. It could be item, it could be number, you can give any name to this variable, and it will be only available in the scope of this body. You guys know, now you guys know what is a scope, right? The area, the basically scope is in which the variable exists. Okay, so there are n number of data types for each variable, like item over here, for the for each activity. And we use for each just for the purpose whenever we want to iterate over a definite range. Like if I want to sum up an array of 10 elements, I can use a for each. Got it? Guys, for each is clear to you? Okay. So let's see an example first, that how you can use the for each. And you can try, if you are able, if you, since you have all installed UiPath in your system, you can just, while I am creating one workflow, you can create that at your end also. So you will get a more practical idea. So over here I have got like one thing, like over here we see you a language called VB and C#. So in this, it means that UiPath can be made using a C# language or VB both, and it's basically dependent on both the languages. So I generally prefer VB. You can go for C# as well. Create a workspace. Click on Open Main Workflow. This is where I can create any activity. If I want to iterate over something, I can write for each and select this for each control. Now in this, any kind of enumerable value can come. Like for example, we used integer earlier. Now let's say we want to use string. I would say I am RPA. So I have created an array. Okay, this is an array of string variables. Now, right now the type argument is object, but each element is of string data type. What I need to do, I need to change this object to string, and then like say what I want is I want to merge all these values. So I will create a variable, let's say word. Okay, and I call it word plus item. Now if I would run this, what will happen? It will keep on concatenating each elements and create a sentence for me. Object data type stores. Okay, so object is like anything. Object is something in which you can store multiple more values. It's like okay, let me show. I will create an object A. Okay, now let's say A5. I guess this should work. A dot B. No, it's not working. So if I use this read range and let me create a file. Okay, so object is something which stores multiple values. Right now, DT1 is a data table variable. And if I use another loop, something like I have got this another variable. So over here, this current row would be a object for me, because it has the data type is data row, but it is also a kind of data object, so that I can use this, and it has multiple values like DT1. And if I give like message box over here to display the value, I can say, let me write current row 0 dot to string. So over here, current row has some more functions to it, so I can use them. Or it could be like dt1 dot, and if I use a dot, then it gives me all the functions of that object. So it's just like you have a class, you have some functions within them. So when I am calling dt1, it's like I am calling an object which is a data table type, and in that particular object I have got multiple functions with it, like rows, that is a function inside an object. Now with rows I can define which row I am want to print. Then it also has more functions to it. So all these are object types. Whenever even you create a variable, anything that you create, that is a kind of object which can store multiple values to it. Was that clear, Saksham? And if you know, if you would be, if you have some idea about Python, then the concept is something similar to it, that everything is an object. You can store anything in an object, you can manipulate it in any way. Was it clear, Saksham? Okay. So what I want to explain over here is how we use the basically the for each loop. So right now word is not visible, definitely because its scope is only set to body. Let's change it to sequence and again write it over here. Now what should happen? It should iterate over each element, concatenate it together, and at last give us a complete sentence. It gave me I am RP expert. It has concatenated all these sentences. So that is a kind of use case for each. Whenever you want to iterate over any collection, use this. And based on the real type of the element, you need to change the type argument as well. Okay. Next, we have got us for each row in data table, like just now we use. So basically, it executes an action for each row in the data table provided. It is an activity which we specifically use when we are working over Excels or any kind of data table. Like we can create our data tables as well in UiPath, something like we have got a build data table activity, using which you can create your own data table. Let me show you what we mean by a data table. So let's say I will just again drag and drop this read range activity. This activity helps me to read the complete Excel and store it in a variable. And when I clear the range over here, it means read the complete Excel, no matter what in which cell the value is present. And I am creating a variable, it says dt1 already exists. So let's just select it. Next, I want to like show you what kind of data is available in this. So I will use an output data table activity. The task of this activity is to convert your data table object into a string data type, like type conversion. Do you guys know what we mean by type conversion? Any idea? What is type conversion? String to integer and vice versa. Yes, something like that. It's not only like fixed to string or integer. It is whenever we are converting from one data type to another data type. Yes, right, Nishan. So what I have done with output data table, I have done a type conversion external. I have converted a data table type to string type. Like as you can see, dt1 is a data table type, whereas my string dt1 is a string type. Now I can print this data table in my message box. Since my message box takes some generic values only. Now let's run this bot. What will happen? It will give me the value. It gave me that my action contains name and Piyush as a value. And if I change the value, let's say add one more column to it. Then I will just rerun it. Now it will give me a comma separated value for the column. For each comma, it means that this belongs to one column, this is second column. This is the kind of your data table, the data stored in the data table object. Now, if I want to iterate over this data table, what I can do, I am supposed to use this for each row in data table. Okay. And now over here, I can just give the value of DT1. So any activity that I use over here will be like, I would be able to access each row. By current row, what I mean is that, let me show how this loop will work. Let's say I have got more data over here. Now, if I, the first row that will be, it's a Piyush and RP, that current row object will have these two values in it. Next time when next iteration comes, it will have Aditya and RP in it. Similarly, let's say I will add more. Okay. Now, third time when it will iterate, it will have Saksham and UiPath, the data inside it, and I can use them. So let's say I try to print current row and the column name, which is name. Now, currently this is an object. I want to convert it to string simply. I just use two dot, then it gives me an option of all the intelligence and convert it to string. So this is also a type conversion. Now let's just run this. So it gave me the first value, Piyush, then Aditya, then Saksham. So I am able to use that data which is available in the Excel. And there is another way to access your column. Suppose I don't know what is the header name of the file. Like I don't know the second header is domain. So what I can do, I can write current row, then my index, number of the column, and toString. In UiPath, indexing goes from 0. So the column A of Excel would be index 0. Column B would be index 1. And this, you see VBCRLF something. So this is a keyword like your system variable, you can say, in UiPath for a new line. Or instead of this, if it is difficult for you to remember, what you can write? You can write environment dot new line. Both will do the same work for us. Now, if we print this, or basically run the bot, what we will see is Piyush and domain. Similarly, Aditya and his domain RPA, Saksham UiPath. So I am able to access both the columns using this current row object. Got it? So what this means is, using the for each row in data table activity, we can use the data which is present in the Excel. And this is something which I had used when I had developed that email automation bot. Do you guys remember that, which I had shown you in as a demonstration? Probably in the second session it was. Okay. So over here, what is the data type of current row? It is a data row type. Right? Data row, when we say data row, it is like referring to first every row of a data table. Okay. Is it clear? Let's also see this. What is the type? If UiPath can show us. Current row dot is null get type. So you see, I didn't remember what was the functions. What I can do, I can just simply use dot and press control space. I was able to see all the functions which are available within that particular object. Now, if we run this again, it will tell me that what is the data type of current row. It should be data row. System.data, which is a namespace, and data row of our class, which we are using this data type. Okay. So, guys, is the for each loop also clear for each row in data table? I hope I am not going so fast and the pace is good for all of you. Cool, guys. Okay. So let's go to our next loop, which is, I guess I missed some slide over here. Okay, something is missing from my presentation. So our next loop is parallel for each. Okay, let's discuss. This is one of the like most interesting loops that I have seen in UiPath. So what is a parallel for each is, let me just find it. I will write for each, parallel for each. Now let's see what it says. It says asynchronously executes a series of activities on each element of an enumeration in parallel. Okay, that is a very typical definition, I guess. So what do you guys understand by parallel? Any idea? What is a parallel? Something like this. Two things were going moving in all side by side. Yeah, nice choice of words, Aditya. All at the same time. Yes. So parallel means we have got two things moving side by side, or we are working on them together. But since with UiPath we have got only one bot, so it can either do a task or let's say B task. It cannot do all both the tasks all together. It's like I want to what say I want to work on column A and I want to work on like Excel sheet 1 and Excel sheet 2. I want to process them both all together. It cannot be it is not possible. But what we parallel means, if we are not a we are stuck somewhere in processing the first Excel, like the first activity, we instead of wasting our time, we can jump out to doing our second task. So let's say an simple example to understand what we mean by parallel activities. So parallel execution, like suppose the scenario is you wake up in the morning and you want what you want to do. You are supposed to fill up 5 water bottles. You are supposed to make your lunch, and you are supposed to make a shake for yourself. Okay. Now you have started with filling up water bottle. What will you do? Will you just stay over there to for all the water bottles to get filled, or that is one scenario. A person can go start filling the water bottle. Let's say he waited for 5 minutes so that each water bottle gets filled. Then he starts preparing his milkshake and probably waits over there again for 5 minutes. So then 10 minutes has been used. Now then he makes sandwiches for himself. Again 5 minutes has been used. So that person has used 15 minutes to complete his task. Did you guys will do the same if I asked you to do all these three tasks? Will you do them one by one? Yes or no? Just think normally, if you are given a task to fill up the water bottle, make a shake for yourself, make some sandwiches for yourself, how will you do them? I'm not getting a response, guys. Okay, so let me say, if while one task is being processed, then I will do that. Great, Nishan. That is our human tendency. Why we one task is being processing. Let's say one water bottle is being filled. I know this water bottle will take some time. It could be in seconds even. So I can utilize that time to prepare the utensils to make the shake. And let's say one water bottle is filled now. So I will jump back to it and shift to the next bottle. Now again, I have got some plenty of seconds with me. I can prepare my toaster to create the sandwich or material to create the sandwich. Okay, so I can do all these three tasks all together. That is a multitasking. So that is the same knowledge we can provide to our robots as well. That if you are stuck somewhere and you have got more tasks to do with yourself, don't waste your time. Jump over to it, and again when you get stuck, then move back to another task that you have in your hand. So that way your time will be saved and you will be able to complete more tasks altogether. Was the idea clear with you guys? Then I will go with the demonstration how it actually performs. Okay, so let's say again I have got an array of 1 2 3 4 5, some elements are there, and I have set the type argument to int32 since these are numbers. Now I will drag a sequence. Then I will use a write line activity. This write line activity is something which gives me output over here in the output panel. This panel gives us logs, all the details, how our bot is being processed, how much time it takes to execute. All the important information can be visible in this output panel. So for now, we'll close it, and let's say I write over here item dot toString. So basically, I am just printing out the value which is coming up in the item for each iteration. Now, once you print that, next what I want to do is I will apply a delay. Okay. Now, delay is something whenever delays come, it gets stopped over there. So let me just show you what I can do to represent actually what a delay is. So first of all, the duration is in time of like 000002. So this means hours, minutes, and seconds, just like a timestamp. So this I am applying a delay for 2 seconds. So before, let me show how this works first. So if I have got a delay above, then what will happen? I have run the bot. Bot will, as bot is executing over this delay activity once, then it will wait for 2 seconds, then go with these activities. I guess we were not able to even see that. So let me just raise the seconds. It will wait for 5 seconds. It should wait. Okay, now bot is waiting for 5 seconds, and as soon as those 5 seconds are over, then it will start processing the loop. So that is a delay. Now, does anyone have any question about delay or any idea when we can use the delay in our daily based scenario? Because delay is something which makes our bot get paused. It will slower our time. If I want my bot to do the task and I apply delay, then what will happen, sir? It will not work that fast. It because the delay will make the bot stop for a period of time. So why do we even need this? Why we use an activity which can even slow down the process that we want to build? If the process is time consuming, yes, again, correct. So there are some processes which, even if you like, let's say you have got an application, you fill some data and you click on next. Now whenever you click on next and the next page comes, there is a delay in between. Now you want your bot also to wait for that particular time, because it might be possible that in certain applications, when you fill up some data, they take some time. It could be in seconds or minutes to process that data to check for validation. Now if our bot is made in such a way that it can also wait for that amount of time, then it will work perfectly well for our scenario. It will be just like a human would be doing. It's just that those steps which the human would take complete in 10 minutes, the bot can do them in 1 minute. So our delay is an activity which is like most useful whenever you are working with some legacy applications, like old applications which are present. Okay, and RPA would be like your life support for those applications. So going back to for each, parallel for each, what I meant is that this activity, what I want is print me this value, like say 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. I want it to print in the output panel just like earlier. But this time, as soon as you print one activity, you will get some delay, a delay of 5 seconds. Or instead of 5, let's make it dynamic. I want, let's say, I will write time span dot from seconds and provide item. What I want this delay, this is just like I had manually typed hard coded at 00:00:05. So instead of that, this particular value, what it will give me, the same format, but this time for each second. Like when the item value is 1, it should return me 00:00:01. Similarly 02, 03. So for each item, the time it will wait for the delay would be more. Now let's say once you are waited for a particular amount of time, what I want to you is again use another write line activity, and over here just type iteration is over for, let's say, item dot to string. In write line, since I can only give string as an input, so I need to convert this integer to string. That's why item dot to string. Now any idea guys what will happen, or should I just run the, if anyone want to guess that what will happen? It will execute 1, then it will wait for 1 second, then it will write iteration is over, or then it should go with 2. That is how a sequence should go, right? Or something different will happen. You guys are thinking in a sequence, like this, these should work in a sequence, that it should write when it came to 3, then it should write 3, then wait for 3 seconds, then run this activity and write iteration is over for 3. Now I will run this. Now what happened? It typed 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then it started type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in different order. So it has given me the values in completely different order. What actually happened? Let me explain that part. This is something like most one of the useful activities in UiPath. So first of all, for each works in parallel in an asynchronous manner. Asynchronous means it will not go in an exact sequence that you have given to it. It can just choose any value. Like even though we have given it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it went through 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in a reverse order. So first it printed 5. That means item.toString value is 5. Then delay is also 5 seconds. Now instead of waiting for 5 seconds, the bot jumped on to the next iteration. It said, okay, you are waiting for 5 seconds. Cool, I will go to the next one. Now next 4 was printed. Then it again, there was a delay. What is saying that I'm again stuck for 4 seconds. Similarly for 3, 2, and 1. So when it reached to 1, it was like 1 second delay is again there. Next, as soon as that 1 second delay is over, and you see the previous delays are also getting over by every second. So as soon as it says that yes, the 1 is free, then it printed 1. Then it found that the 2-second gap, which was for the previous activity, that is also complete over. Now bot is able to process the next steps after that also. So it completed that task. So it's just exactly similar as a human person. If one task is complete, then jump to next. Or if you are getting stuck again in the second task and you have got some other task to do, you can keep on doing that until you get some kind of breaker in between. Okay. Was the parallel for each activity clear to you? Just a basic understanding. Come do your task, move in that sequential manner. But if you have got multiple tasks with you and you get a breaker in between, something which is stopping you from doing the next activity, processing that, then do not waste your time. The time is very precious. Use that time to process the second activity which you have. And if anywhere in between you get a breaker, then again jump to another one. If not, then complete that task. And once the task is completed, then move back to the previous, which is the previous pending task which are available with you. Clear, guys? How about others? Aditya, Sainath, Kaushik? Yes?
Can you please explain it again, like how the outcome is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Okay. Yeah, Aditya. Sure. So what is happening over here? Let's say a parallel for each is running. Okay. Now, first activity that ran was item.toString. It printed 5. So that means right now 5 is the value of item. So our delay should be for 5 seconds, since we are creating the delay based on the item value only. Now,
So like it should be 1. It should start from 1.
no, the idea is that whenever we use parallel for each, it works in an asynchronous manner. So it does not matter in which order you give the values to it. It does not give any sense that if you given it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In asynchronous, it could be anything. It could work from reverse order, or it could take from any element in between. We use parallel for each only if we have got multiple elements on which we want to process the same procedure. If best example is that in industry that we use, we have got multiple documents that we want to process, and they all are a same kind of document. Something like is you have submitted an application to create a bank account. So all the documents would be same for each customer, just the data would be different. So what I give in this enumerable, I will give all the collection of all those documents, and I don't care that in which order it is working. It will be asynchronous. Let the bot decide which element, which document it needs to start processing first. But the idea is, if you are get stuck somewhere, move on to the next one.
So this
Okay,
means that if we run it again, then the output will change because it is
it is
taking RAM.
possible. It depends on the bot itself. Right now, what bot is doing, it is every time it is taking the iteration in the reverse order. Let's say, try to reverse this as well. It might be possible that it will take all the values in reverse order only, because it is completely dependent on how parallel for each wants to work. See, now it takes the value in reverse order, 1 2 3 4 5, but still the iteration part in the end, it is going in the same way, because the delay time for each activity is different. For one, the delay time is less than 2. Similarly, for 2, it is less than 3. So that activity gets executed first. Now is it clear, Aditya?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So moving forward, I guess for each, parallel for each and for each is clear for everyone, right? Should I move to the while loop? Okay. So while uh, executes contained activities when while the condition is true. It is an indefinite. We use while when we are not sure when how many times I want to run this particular sequence of activities. It depends on when the condition would be fulfilled. So let's just see it practically. That's more better. So let's say I will use a while loop over here, and let's say I don't know that how many times it should run. So I applied a true condition over here, or you can apply something else, something like let's say, taking the example that I described earlier. Not this, I want this. Let's say I'm taking some input from user. Now I want that, since I don't know how many values the user will give me, so just check if value dot equals done until or sorry, this won't be right, not. So what I want, until the value is not equal to done, then run the activities which are inside. So let's say I'm going to give it some kind of integer value. So I will again, like over here, let's say, do I have a number? No. I will create a number variable, and I will say number plus, let's convert. I will use convert dot to in 32 and add my value variable over here. What happened? It is giving me an error. Okay, over here, let's go back, convert this to int 32 and this to sequence. Now, what I got a while loop that until the user gives me does not give me done, add that number. Okay, so I will need this activity also inside. First time, let's see now what will happen. It will again and again keep on asking value from user until the done keyword is given. And once we get a done keyword, let's just print the value. Let's say I just want to print the number. So if I now run it, this is a while loop. I am not sure how many times I'm going to give it some kind of value. I gave 2, it's still running. It's in the backend, it's still running. I'm giving some value 45. Now I am done with it. Okay, now I just want just done, just give me some kind of output. So it gave me that, sir, your sum is 51, and now bot is stopped. So that is when we use a while loop. Okay, we are not sure how many times the user is going to give us some input, or how many times you are supposed to run. You can use this activity in various scenarios depending on the situations. Probably until or unless you get a proper info from user. keep on running it in a while loop. You apply a condition that while true, and then take some input, check that get data type of that input, is it proper, is it not? If not, then give some message that, sir, you have not given us a proper input that we want, please give it again. Okay, that is a kind of use case you can apply. Next we have got with us our do while loop. Do while loop means execute contain activities first and then loops if the condition is true. So like in while loop, which is a in while loop we check the condition first, but in do while loop we check the condition later on. Let me just drag it over here. So first of all it will check for some value, then I'm basically it takes the value, it takes and it processes it do or it runs all the activities, then it checks if the condition is being satisfied or not. If not, then it will just, if the condition becomes true, then rerun the loop. If condition becomes false at some point, then stop the bot. So let's say again I'm just taking some input. Okay, now I say if, okay, input is right now what inside body scope, let's convert, change the scope to sequence. Now let's say input where dot equals true. So while the condition is this condition, if gets true, then it will rerun. If false, then it will just close down the bot. So right now, let's say I'm giving true. So true should equals true, and it is again asking me for this input activity. Similarly, if again I give the same thing, it will keep on running. But if I want to close the loop, close this loop, I can just give anything to it, which is different from true, and my bot is closed. Okay, so you need to use this do while activities whenever you are not sure that how many times this loop is to run, but there is a scenario that at least one times those activities needs to be done. So for while it is, we are not sure if even first time you want to run that activity, it might be possible that you don't even need to run the activity. So that is indefinite. That is why you are using while loop. But when we know that at least once these all activities, this process needs to be executed, then you use do while loop and let it depend on the condition if it needs to be run only one time or more than one time. Okay, do while loop is also clear, guys. So these were the loops that you can use with the sequence workflow. You remember, guys, I told that process flows can be of two types: a sequence or a flowchart. So like if you go with flowchart also, over there you don't really need to get any kind of activity to create a loop. If I want to create a loop in flowchart, what I can simply do, I can like drag any activity. Let's say I drag this, then again I drag another activity. I can use this connector to connect it to this. So my process flow path is this one. Now let's say I just ask him again connect back over here. So again, without using any activity, simply using connector, I was able to create a loop, which is like an infinite loop right now. So let's say I'm just going to write two. I'm going to take some input. I guess it won't be required. So let's say if it runs without giving any properties to input dialog, then it is an infinite loop that is we are using with this particular flowchart. Okay, so whenever you want to create, you have got multiple decisions like earlier I explained. if you have got multiple situations, multiple conditional statements that you need to use, so you can simply use a flow chart, and this based on your condition situation creates loops, create different activities, different flow paths using these proper connectors. And you can just, depending on your situation, enlarge or expand this particular flow chart surface. Okay, this loops are clear to you all? How many loops we have? We have got whenever I want to see, we simply like type 4 in the activities panel. This is your activities panel, just type 4, and you see this for each row, one loop, second loop, third loop. Okay, that is all for this loop section. Now moving forward, we are going to our quiz. So prepare your mobiles, guys. I'm just stopping my screen for a minute. Now you guys prepare your mobiles until I just start the quiz for you. And let's see how many of you were like active in last session. Are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You guys need that friendly nickname also generator. Okay, now screen is visible, right? Start joining. Oh, somehow the number of participants reduced. Others, guys, 12 participants. Out of 24, we have got 12 players only. That is half. Nemo, Teja. Z God, are you a fan of Dragon Ball Z? Is there anyone else joining? Oh, I guess we lost one player. Okay, 50. Yeah, 27, 16. Okay, 6. Let's wait for 2 minutes more. Okay. Anyone else joining? I'm starting the game. Just mention in the chat if you there is some internet issue or you are joining or not. No message. Okay. So let's start our quiz for this fourth session. Begins. Okay. Evaluate a simple mathematical problem. We have got 30 seconds. Let's say who remembers mathematics. This is simple multiplication, division, addition. Whoa, only 5 seconds left, guys. 5, 4. No one is answering. Okay, I guess few of you have not even answered. 4 are correct, 3 incorrect. So, what happened, guys? Like, was the amount of time less? Let me just. So basically, the idea you should have is. Well, so basically, mathematics is something present everywhere. It's not only when you are studying mathematics or doing some calculation for statistics. So basically, in this question, you needed to follow a FODMAS rule, the basic rule that we have learned in a school time. First, just the brackets are calculated like 2, this sign, caret sign, if you remember, for to the power. So like 2 to the power 3, 8. Then into, then we have got 2 mod 8 plus 1. So what is mod refers to? Do you guys remember? Mention in the chat. What is 2 mod 8? Reminder, right? So 2 mod 8 is 2 only. Oh, sorry, 0, since it won't be, there won't be any value. So then plus 1. So 2 to the power 3 is 8 into 3. Yeah, it was 2, sorry, not 0. Yeah, so 8 into 3, 24. Okay, now next time keep focus, there might be another one coming up. Let's say Aditya is good in mathematics. Right, Sainath on second. So what type of operator is XOR? We have got arithmetic operators, bitwise operators, logical operators, or all of them. Okay, this time we have got great, nice answers. Suresh Sharma, no, not one. Logical. So when we say AND, OR, XOR, NOR, all these are logical operators. If like any one of you would have gone through like study electrical, then it would be more clear. Like this was when what I studied in my first year during college, when I had that electrical branch in BTech. So these are logical operators, and we use them whenever we create some kind of conditions. Generally, we go for and or, but XOR is something also you should just remember. XOR or not, these are very useful. So next, let's see who is on top. Saksham has taken the first place from Aditya, and Pratik is on second. Great. Moving on to a third question. A bot which requires human help is known as. I hope you are not forgetting the previous sessions. Yeah, this time we got answers very fast. Great. You see, it shouldn't be like we are learning something, then we forgot that. Nice. Many of you have given the correct answer. Attended bot. For these three people, please pay attention. So whenever a human helps is required, that's called attended bot. That's why attended keyword is there. Someone is attending to that bot. Pratik is on fire with first position. Great, Pratik. True and false. Okay, this is again a condition. What if a condition says true and false or true? What will be the final output of this condition when this evaluated? It could be true or it would be false. Try to remember the and or logic from last session. Bravo. All like 99% correct answers. Great. So false or true is true and true and true. True. Who was the fastest? Sainath has taken the first place. 7 players have reached answer streak 3. Great going, guys. Survish, what are you referring for? 2 second. Okay, are you giving the answer? Great, right. Next, can I created a nested if else in UI path? Read the question properly. Can I create a nested if else in UI path? For these 6, actually, like, can anyone, who are these 6 people? Was it like because of the try to avoid keyword that I had used in the previous session?
Try to avoid it.
Yeah. So that's why I mentioned try to read the question properly. Can I create nested if else? So you can create a nested if else, definitely yes. But you can try to avoid in situations. But it's not like you cannot create it, because there might be times when you just have one option to create a nested if else only. There can be a possible scenario. So you cannot go for that. It's never possible. For RPA, nothing is impossible. It's just we don't know the answer. So if we want to compare a value with multiple possibilities, which activity is suitable for the job? Again, read the question properly. Try if you might have more options than one. Switch. Okay. So how many of you gave 2 answers? I guess I didn't mention that you can select 2 options. So basically, if you are using a sequence, you can use a switch activity. And if you are using a flow chart, then you can go with flow switch. Switch case, you are like logically, theoretically answer is correct. But since the question was which activity is suitable, so in UiPath, the activity name is switch, only switch. And for flowchart, it's only flow switch. Okay, that's why I say that practice more, learn to go with practical session more than theory. With theory, you can understand the topics, but with practice, you can really create the bots. This time, only 3 answers was correct. And I guess the scoreboard must have changed. Yes, Sayali has got the first position. Great. To check for any condition in a sequence, we use which activity? Again, read the question properly. Five, four, three, two, one. Correct. If activity. for 3 people just who have used flow decision. So the problem was with the sequence keyword. Really confusing question, sir. Okay. So what I use was deliberately the keyword sequence. We have got two process flows, sequence and flowchart. So when I'm using a flowchart, I use flow decisions, and when I'm using a sequence, we use if condition. Okay, I cannot use flow decision in a sequence. So just keep focus on the questions. Ciel is on fire and on still on number one. She's reading the questions properly, and I guess others are just giving the answers. Place from where we can monitor the status of bot is called. Two, one. Okay, let's see. UI path orchestrator. Correct, guys. UI path dashboard and control room are just some keywords I have used. In UI path, basically we just call it UI path orchestrator. You can monitor the bots, you can create the bots, machines, and so many things are there. Like even like I would say, once you are complete with the foundation course, start learning about orchestrator. It has so many features that can help you with your automation. And we see Z is on stake 3 and has came up to the second position. Great. Ninth question again. 30 seconds, guys. Improve your thinking skills. Only 3 correct answers. So, so guys, this was just a tricky question. You again just need to follow the BODMAS rule to do this. Like, just think of it. The main trick is this is 5 plus 5, 10. Okay. Then this is again 5 plus 5, 10. But over here, this complete is minus 10 actually. Now, and then you have got mod 2. So minus 10 mod 2 is 0, since minus 10 is less than 2. So your answer is 10. This was just a bit tricky question. You need to just give focus on actual what the question wants to ask. So the idea behind this questions actually is, when you go in industry, what will happen? Your client would say that I want this thing to be automated. I am getting problem from this task. Please automate this for me. And it might be possible that whoever you are working with, that person, that your employer would ask me that why are you taking so much time, just finish it up, it is so easy, automate that. So they will just give you a bunch of tasks to automate, and you will just have to start building that. But that will result in an something which is not useful, something which would fail at a very after such a small amount of time. Even the customer might say, oh, this is not something which I wanted to say this, but somehow I understood this and gave you these requirements. So whenever I'm asking a question, try to rethink again, why am I trying to ask you that question, what are actual my needs. Okay, just think properly before starting. Let's see who is on top. Again, the scoreboard has changed and Z is on top. Moving forward, 10th question. What is the symbol for modulo operator? Now, this is one very really answer, I guess. Very really, very easy. The most easiest question of this quiz is this one. 7. Guys, for those who have used 7, are you trying to Google? Okay. Is anyone trying to Google the questions? Like if you go to Google and say symbol for module, it will definitely give you this sign, because we use this whenever we are working with like something Python. In C we use this, yes. But when we talk about VB or UI path, the modulo is mod. And what I'm saying, try to remember, try to give focus on the questions. See, previous questions has mod in between. And even I asked what is mod for. You guys told me that mod is for remainder. I didn't said that. And again, now the question is asking what is the modulo operator. So simple, the answer is mod. So remember in UiPath, your arithmetic operator for modulo is mod. Again, scoreboard might have changed. Oh, wow. Zed and Pratik, I guess, giving complete focus to all the questions. And Sainath is on 3rd. We have got second last question. Do you want to build a bot yourself? No. This is something it should be answered super fast. I guess not something we need even to think. It's either yes or no. 2 people are still thinking, oh, I want to create a bot. I don't want to create a bot. Nice. So for those two who don't want to create a bot, okay, it's your choice. You can learn more about RP than go with building a bot. For 15, I've got a surprise for you at the end. Let's see. These people have just given the correct answer. That's why there's no changes for both. Final question again. This symbol represents what kind of operator is this symbol? Try to remember. I gave focus on this symbol in the last session. Okay, only 4 people are correct. So it's not less than or greater than, it's not equal to. When we say, when we in the last session we discussed about operators in UiPath. So I mentioned clearly that for not equal to, we use less than and greater than signs. Okay, I guess the scoreboard is changed again. Let's see who has given all the correct answers. Congrats, Sayali, 3rd position. Pratik on 2nd, and our winner with 9 questions out of 12. That, congrats. Let's see who are 4th and 5th. Sainath and Nish. Great guys. Now, for the 15 people who had asked that, yes, want to build a bot. So let's share you guys something. I have something for you. Just start sharing my screen. Now see, first of all, before going to your task, one thing I forgot actually. Break and continue. Before first let me complete this. So basically break and continue are just 2 statements that we use when we are working with loops. If a loop is going on, iterating, and you want to move out of the loop, use a break activity. If you want to iterate to the next condition, next element, then use a continue. Just a simple one. I will just show right now, then we can go to the surprise. So let's say I have a for each again, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say int, and I use an if activity. If my item is equal to 3, then break. if, again a new one, if my item is equal to 3, then what needs to do? I want a continue. Now what will happen? First, okay, I want to do one more thing. I want to print the value. Let's use a write line over here, and I can write item to it. Item dot to string. Okay. So can anyone tell me in the chat fast that what would be the output in the our output panel? What is going to be printed over here in this output panel? Fast guys, hurry up. Just answer. I have got an iteration 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it will check if the item value is 3, then do a continue. Continue means move to the next iteration. Don't process the rest of the activities. And if it is 3, this one, then break, move out of the loop. So I have got 1, 2, 4, 5, comma 1, 2. Only one output would be there, Saurabh. Only one output will be there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. No, definitely not. Infinity. 1, 2, 4, 5. That seems promising. How about others? I was joking when I said 1, 2, 4, 5 was promising. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Nice. How about others? 1, 2, 4, 5 for continue. It's not for continue, Saurabh. It's there would be only one output, no matter. For all these activities, there will be only one single output. 1, 2, 4. Okay, I will just run and say we have got 2 people with correct answers. 1, 2, 4, 5. Right. So that was the correct answer by Sayali and Boogie. What happened is first the value came 1. Okay. Then it checked if item is equal to 3, 1 is equal to 3. Definitely not. Print it. Then again, if is it equal to 3? No. So no need to run this break activity. Then for similarly for 2, it checked if value is equal to 2. No. Print it. Then again, skip this one. Next it checked if value is for 3. Yes, this time it checked if item 3 is equal to 3, it is matching, then run the continue activity. So it didn't printed the 3 value, it just jumped onto the 4. So it just skipped rest of the activities. Next again, same for 4 and 5. These two conditions will not run, it will simply print the 4 and 5. Similarly, now let's say I am just reversing the order. Fast guys, the output. Now I guess you all guys should know the answer. Just give me the output for this particular flow. 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. The 1, 2, as soon as it gets 3 is same, break out of the loop. Okay. So break and continue statements are also clear to everyone. Now we have got assignment. Something which every student hates. Okay. So, but for tomorrow's session, before starting, I want you guys to create this bot for yourself. The idea is same, very simple. You need to create a game that generates a random number in between 1 and 100 and ask the user to guess it. Let's say the bot has generated a number 57 between 1 and 100. Now give the user a number of attempts. It could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 10, up to you. Okay. Now let's say for example the attempts are number 3. Now if the user is able to guess the exact number 57 within 3 attempts, then give him a message that you have won. If he fails, then say you have lost. But for every failed attempt, like say the first attempt the number is 57 but I typed in, gave an input as 30, then bot should tell me then I am supposed to guess a bigger number, like 30 is smaller than 57, so I need to guess a bigger number so that I can actually try for the next number. I might try to enter input as 65. Then bot should tell me that sir your number is bigger, try to think little bit lower. So this time that gives me a chance gives me some input that my number is between 37 and 67. So I need to think something in between. So that will give me a chance that I might think 57. Chances are low, very low, but it might be possible to win the game. So this is your task for tomorrow. Okay, that you need to come up with this bot, build it, and anyone I might ask to share his or her screen to show the bot. For example, let me just show you a demo of this bot as well. This is your guess the number. I will play it. It's asking me to guess the number. Definitely I'm going to lose, I believe. 34. It's asking me to guess bigger. Next, what should I guys think? Enter. Any guesses? You can also play with me. 63. Okay. 37, 60. It's bigger than 63. 100. Should I go with 100? Aman. 74. Okay. It's even bigger than 74. We have got, I guess we have got two more chances. 88. Let's go with 88. So it is between 74 and 88. When it's definitely not 43, we know that.
82.
So 82. Okay. We lost. It was just by one number. It was 83. Okay. So this game you want to, you are supposed to win. Now, if you want to be creative, it might be you want to give number of attempts, let the user decide. You can do that. But try to build this one. Okay. You just need to use the knowledge we have learned through this week. Use loops, use if else condition. You will need to use a delay, or maybe delay is not required. You can use input variable, input activity. Okay. And to generate a random number, Google it. You guys should learn. That is one of the most best skills that anyone can learn in a technical industry, IT industry. How to Google. So that is your another task. You will have to Google and see how you can generate a random number between 1 and 100 using UiPath. What happen if we type number greater than 100? It won't matter. It will always say that your number is bigger. Try to think less. I will just show. Say my bot should start running. I am giving it 1, 2, 3, 4. It says guess smaller. Okay. So the logic is just user, the bot creates a random number within itself, store it in memory. Now it's asking the user, please guess that number which I have created. Now, if the number the user guess is smaller, tell him you need to guess bigger. If he guess larger, then tell him that you need to guess smaller. But if the number is exactly same as the random number, then just say you have won the game. Okay. So 34 is bigger. I want 12. 12 is even bigger. I guess it must be number 1 then. Oh, even bigger than 1. How could it be possible? It was 77. Something was there. Okay. Okay, tell me guess bigger. Okay. So that was the task that you need to create. Are there any questions left, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. So we are over with today's session. If no one has out, Rohit, would you like to give any kind of closure to the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for today's session. So today's quiz was interesting. It was mathematical.
Yeah.
I lost these 2 mathematical questions. I was thinking I was good at math, but today's questions lost me. I lost these questions.
Be prepared for tomorrow's quiz.
Yes, sir. I think it will be more interesting, but
Okay.
less mathematical. Yes.
Okay.
Guys, thank you for joining us. I want to give you the information that if anyone left with any backlog, then you can refer to our you can refer to the recordings that are available on our YouTube channel. Okay. We'll just text in the chat box. Okay. If anyone left with that, otherwise we are with sir. Live interactions are most important. You should refer for YouTube videos.
And guys, one more update.
Thank you for today's session.
Guys, one more update for
Yes, sir.
everyone from my side. Tomorrow
Yes,
would
sir.
be my last session with you all. So just think if you guys have any questions, try to practice today, so that if you still have any kind of doubt, any problem, we can discuss that tomorrow. Okay, that's all. And tomorrow would be the most interactive one, like interesting one. You will we will build a bot from scratch. Okay.
Guys, please try to join as maximum number of people tomorrow. We will be last day with sir. Try to extract most of the information you can extract with sir's knowledge. Sir,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Bye, Rohit. Bye, guys. See you
Bye, sir.
tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. See you tomorrow, sir.